Yes. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to UF Talk, Unscripted Football Talk. Today, obviously, we're going to be talking about the preview of the Premier League. The Premier League is back. I'm so happy that international football just drained me out. I'm so weak as well because of it. Today, we're going to have TEREAK and Alid. Alid, obviously, he came on the Champions League show we was doing when the Champions League draws was happening. So he's been in on this channel before. TEREAK is a regular guy on here as well. So let me bring them both in. Let's go, TEREAK. Let's go.
Yeah, Fozi. Yes, UFT. I'm glad.
Yes, boys.
Yes, Alid. Come on, we got this, man. Football's back.
Got this. Big up the boys. Pleasure to be back on, Fozi. Sorry that Lazer's not on here, but we got Fozi to my left and TEREAK to my right. It's going to be a good show.
Exactly.
Of course, bro. Guys, so what do you guys think? Like international football and the Premier League has been away for obviously a week or so. A lot of the players have been complaining about the fatigue and all these international football. Like basically, there's World Cup qualifiers and there's National League and all this stuff happening all at once. And I think Courtois, the goalkeeper, came out and said they're doing this for the money reasons. It's nothing to do with the actual football, and they're putting the players through pain. They're getting them tired. And I agree with him to a certain extent. No, I agree with him hugely, because I look at them and in the last 5 years, it's like non-stop football for these players. And Alid knows about our club. The majority of our players played every game, I think. World Cups, African nations, and etc. So what do you think, TEREAK? Like, what do you think of this international football? Like, we just finished a tournament and we're going to another thing straight after that, and we've got Champions League football in between as well. So these are humans, they're not robots. Is this all right? Is this right, what's happening?
It's definitely not right, and I agree with you totally on that, Fozi. It's a power play from UEFA and FIFA, you see. Mm-hmm. They want the money. They see the revenue that these leagues, like the Premier League, are making, the Champions League, and they just want to increase that so much. Totally agree with Thibaut Courtois' quotes in talking about it's like the players are just pawns in this situation. They're just slaves to it, and they just have to... I know they get paid very handsomely in terms of their finances, and everybody talks about that a lot. These guys getting paid, but we do realize they are humans at the end of the day. No matter how much you pay them, they're spending a lot of time away from family. They're working so hard. They're putting so much stress mentally on the line, and to represent their country, no one's ever going to turn that down, and they know that. And FIFA and UEFA and all that. So it's just ridiculous in my eyes how they're just exploiting these players. And in let's be honest, meaningless games. I know they've added the UEFA Nations League to get rid of and minimise friendlies. However, what's the credibility of that right now to this day? Are you bothered about it, any of you? Because I'm not really. I didn't even watch the games, to be quite honest.
No, I didn't watch it. What do you think of it, Alid, mate?
Yeah, obviously I agree with both your points. I just feel it's unnecessary. The fact that it's when they the international breaks, which consist of usually 2 weeks, and they fit a game, and then they have a friendly in between their second game. It's like, what do you need a friendly for? You just played your first game. It's just stuff like that. Just honestly goes straight over my head. But on the Nations League stuff as well, I didn't watch it the same as you, TEREAK. But it's just another way of churning out money for revenue, I think. But I don't agree with it at all. I think it's just poor for the game, because people want to go and see football matches to see players giving their 100%, and you cannot physically do that over a sustained 60 game a season if you every player was like Gini Wijnaldum, just constantly playing game after game after game, and in and around the international breaks and for your club as well. It's very difficult, and we can't expect performances and then performances to be consistent, and then you're wondering why players are getting scrutinised halfway through the season when they're playing 3 games a week consistently for 45 weeks a year. It's just crazy.
And you're right, actually, because the majority of the players in our club, especially, you can see they come back from injury and they're straight away going to international football. It just doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. Casper says a big up the UFT community. Who was going to speak? Someone was going to say something just now.
Yeah, it was me. Just to be on, play devil's advocate in this situation. Do you think, especially Fozi and Alid as well, because we got Premier League based teams, do you think that we're trying to kind of getting on our high horse about it as well? In terms of the international break, because for a lot of teams and nations and players, this is a great opportunity for them. Like, you know, think of Luxembourg, they're coming up against Ronaldo. So that's a real honour and pleasure for them, because they're never going to come up against him, the majority of those players. And other nations like Faroe Islands, etc. So just on the other side of the fence, what do you think about that?
To me, what I think, to be honest, I think about the players more often. Like, I don't care about. Listen, it's club. Everybody loves our club. We're gonna support our club no matter what. If players go, whatever it is, it's the fatigue. You know what I mean? We just finished the tournament, guys. We just finished a tournament, a Euro. That's like push back as well. Don't forget, it was like push forward or back. One of those one, anyway. Because of the pandemic and next year we've got the World Cup straight after that, if you know what I mean. So there's no rest in between. It's just too much football for players, and it's going to cause injuries. It's going to cause, you know, they're going to be tired the majority of the season as well. So not only that, they're going to sacrifice their league form because of things like this, if you know what I mean, Tariq. So that's what I'm looking at. It's the human side of things. That's what people don't think about. It's the human side. Yes, they get paid a lot of money, but they don't deserve to play this many games. I mean, we've got African nations coming in January as well, people. I mean, so it's just too much football, in my opinion, which is just damaging the players. You look. Let me give you a prime example. You look at Mane. Mane can't get past the player anymore. He looks tired every game he plays. Right, Alid, or not? When you look at Mane nowadays.
No, he does, and especially when in a COVID environment, especially without that fans, obviously we know it gives them a boost in itself, but especially when you're playing without that fan element, it does drain you. And obviously when, you know, even now today when there is fans in the ground, sometimes you see Mane with a poor performance, but then when we think back at last season and what he was performing like for a consistent 20 game period, it was really, really poor. But you can't blame him when he's constantly playing football matches. If you ask football players, would they want to play a game, get as many games as they can, they'd say, 100%. But then when you ask them about the long-term projects with the World Cup, the answer always seems to be contrasted. Oh, well, it's too many games. So it's a bit like, I just think it's a bit harsh on the players, but, you know, they all want to play for their country to get as many appearances as they can. But
of course,
is it right for them? I don't think it is.
I agree with you guys, to be honest,
guys, I don't know if you heard about this bit here. Sterling finally says he is considering a move away from City. I heard glimpses of what he was saying. I think he's getting to the point like he's getting frustrated playing for City and not getting the opportunity on the pitch. You know what I mean? Like, he's just coming on as a sub at the moment. Is he too good to be in the bench of City? Ali, do you think like he should be getting a consistent? We know him, obviously. He came through our team. Do you think he should be like playing consistent at his age now? He's 26, I think now. But he's saying he's considering a move abroad or something like that along those lines because he's not really happy at City. Sometimes, you know, you could have all the money in the world, but if you're not playing on the pitch, what's the point of it? You know what I mean? To some players, in a way. So what do you think about that, Alid?
Definitely. There's no doubt he has world-class potential. It's just the little things, I think, in his game where sometimes I think if he'd just modified that, I think he could take his game to the next level. And I think he has improved if you look at his 3-year trajectory, in the sense that 2 years ago he'd be missing open goals every season, where he sort of modified that. He's got that under his belt, he's sorted that out. But then there's other aspects to his game, and I think he's edging towards the peak of his powers. And I think a player of his caliber, we've seen in the Euros as well, he's obviously going to be instrumental to the team that he plays for if he's given the opportunity. So I think definitely he deserves game time. Look, all Liverpool fans will have their opinions on him, but I think we have to look at this from a clear perspective. He's a world-class player, but I think he definitely deserves a consistent amount of games.
Good afternoon, John Conway, by the way. Thank you very much.
Big yourself up, John.
Yes, and we've got big up from
Abdul
as well.
Abdul.
And Joe Powell, obviously. Hi guys, the Prem is back. Couldn't be happier. Of course, the same goes for you, TEREAK, mate. What do you think of the Sterling issue? I think at this stage he should be like a world beater. I think it's up and down with him for some reason. I don't know I think he's got every tool. You know what I mean, to be a world class player, but he's been like staying in the same level for a while as well. You know what I mean, and at his age, he should be like playing on a regular basis. Let's be honest here. He's reaching the prime now.
Yeah, I agree with you. But do you know what? It's for this one, for Manchester City, it's the pros and cons to how their model is and how they build a squad. Because I always like to do this, compare it to Liverpool. When you see Liverpool, they've got the same 11. They've got those key players that always play. The front three generally always play. Now Jota's in there, you see that mixed up. But Mane, Salah, Van Dijk, Fabinho, those types of players. Henderson will play when he's fit too. And when you get that, that's the pros. The players get that continuity, and they're able to, when they are off form, they're able to pick themselves back up. But the cons to that is that we're hearing a lot. These players are burning out. They're starting to, as you just talking about with Mane, plays every single game. But with Manchester City, they chop and change in all places. Yeah. We've seen Bernardo Silva in the summer come out, and he's saying he's not happy with his game time because if in Manchester City, similar to how Chelsea are as well, if you're not performing, you'll get dropped straight away. And if you go through a rough patch, which everybody does, every player, whether it's on the pitch or off the pitch factors, with Raheem Sterling, we've seen his quality. You can't argue with his numbers. Yes, as Alid was saying, totally agree that he has areas of his game that he still needs to develop. And I'm not sure if he'll quite get there. But even if when he's been playing every week, scored plenty of goals and been a key player for Man City. And the part is for now with Man City, they're going to lose a lot of these players and having to keep regenerating that squad because players are going to grow frustrated. Once they've won that trophy, that big trophy, and they've got that name, they're going to look for continuity now. So I do agree with him. I do think he does deserve a move. He's definitely got the quality to keep to be a mainstay in a top European team. But yeah, Manchester City are going to suffer with that now, and we'll see the likes of Bernardo Silva want to leave, Raheem Sterling. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ferran Torres at one point or Gabriel Jesus when they get further into
let me ask you guys a question. You know, with Raheem Sterling, he's always controversial, isn't he? He's always like bringing things out. Is that the bad side of him, or is he just too honest? You know what I mean? Because every single time he's got issues, it's always out there, and he's always have to make excuse for it why he does it, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, he's got the tattoo on his leg with a machine gun, whatever it was. You know, like things. He just does some weird stuff, and then he's to me, he's just too honest, and he can't. Things you got to keep in house. Discuss it with the club first, and then you could, if they give you the permission to speak with a report or whatever it is, then you could speak to the report afterwards. But I think he's just too honest, mate, and that's what kills his reputation. Not just at Liverpool, but I'm talking about in world football status, where he should be like regarded as one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, do you know what? With that, for me, I'm on the other side of the fence, Foz. I quite like that honesty and that transparency that these players do show, because we don't see a lot. And Raheem Sterling's received a lot of credit throughout his career because of it, like how he's spoken up on previous issues, like we saw with Manchester City, how they were treating Tosin Adarabioyo when he was there at the time compared to Phil Foden when they bought a house, and other issues as well, quite political. And I respect that. However, I do agree with you in a sense that these you don't air your dirty laundry in this case, and I think he's showing a bit of disrespect to Manchester City by saying this and being open with it, because let's be honest, Manchester City gave you a platform, Raheem. They put that £50 million at the time where you hadn't proven anything in the game. So that's what I agree with you on that. And if he's got to show that respect, and because he's going to devalue himself now by saying this, because the players are want away. So any club that's going to come in, all right, we know Sterling wants to leave. He's not happy with his game time. This is public knowledge. So we're not offering however much you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think of that, Elliot? Do you think like he's too honest, like for like public, you know, just announcing everything to the public on a regular? Like he just to me, he just can't help it. And shouldn't he be respectful for Man City for what they've done for him?
Yeah, I think there's obviously a line that you've got to draw, and I think obviously, I think some of the things he has done in the past could be argued, could be rash, could you say? And maybe like if he hadn't have done that, I think it does affect his reputation, and I think it does affect, sometimes his performances. I think it does get to him on times. I think, but I just think if he was a little bit more, if he was as transparent, but maybe in a different way. I think he would. I think he definitely produced better numbers. I think that definitely has had an effect on his performances. Some of the stuff he's done off the field, I truly do believe that. So maybe, this one in particular, I do think it's slightly disrespectful to agree. But yeah, again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Whether they've told him that he's not in their plans. And therefore he can't rule out a move away. So we can't obviously come to a judgment, but looking in from an outside perspective, it does look slightly disrespectful. But it's just part of the game, really.
Of course, bro. I saw something today from our manager. Jurgen Klopp says he expected the Premier League to react on the Newcastle takeover due to human rights in their country. I think I said something to Rick, didn't I, after the stream with Adam, and we had to leave. I said this was come up, didn't I? I said this was actually going to happen, and people are already doing it. Apparently, all 19 clubs, apart from Newcastle, have had a meeting about the human rights of Saudi Arabia and all that stuff. What do you think of this, TEREAK? It was going to come out, and I told you this will happen on that day, and we had to leave straight away because I didn't want to say it on live, YouTube. What do you think of this, about the human rights of Saudi Arabia and everything like that? And especially the dodgy dealings, and, things will happen, and there will be questions eventually for what they do, the dirty laundry and all that stuff they normally do.
Yeah, you spot on. And yes, you was talking about this, and I agreed with you massively. And you know what? I'm glad that Klopp has come out and said it, someone with his reputation, because the Premier League have not done their due diligence at all in this. When we're looking at, because it's not the Public Investment Fund, the PIF, isn't Saudi Arabia led, isn't led by the KSA, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. However, it is a sovereign fund which is funded by the royal family of Saudi Arabia. So just because they've put, okay, this guy is the head, he's the chairman of it, one guy. However, where's the money coming from? It's being invested.
Isn't this similar to the mancity thing, though, doing the courts?
Exactly. Yes, with that, with the Abu Dhabi, with the whole Abu Dhabi part. But because they have one man from the royal family at the head of it, they're able to bend the rules. It's once again the loopholes being shown, and the Premier League know it. They're not stupid. Come on, when you've got this amount of money, these billionaires aren't that stupid. They're not as naive. Exactly. They're not as naive as they make out. The whole reason they do this is because, we can say we're doing our job, but, there's ways around it. Just like UEFA with Manchester City, how they escaped financial fair play issues when they were meant to get kicked out, but the Court of Arbitration of Sport was able to work it out. As Ali just said there, money talks. Guys, this is what happens. People will do in our life, at our level, just like us, who I'm not a billionaire, I'm not a millionaire, and money will talk to us as well. We can be swayed, and it will and that's when the true people come out. And especially with these billionaires, and the Premier League know what they're doing. They're creating their own Super League to prevent a potential Super League from happening in the future. So if this can happen and generate more income for them, they're happy and they don't care.
What do you think about Alid, mate? Like, the same thing goes for you about the takeover.
Yeah, it's obviously it's. I agree with everything that TEREAK has pointed out. I think obviously they will. I'd be very, very surprised if there's something that doesn't come out in the media over the next maybe year or two about something shady going on behind the scenes between Newcastle and maybe the Premier League or involving other clubs. I just think, look, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but what I do know is that I just don't think it's fair for the integrity of the league. I just think you cannot buy your way to success. I just think you need to build it. And look, I just think it's a very unfair disadvantage. However, you could look at it on the other side of the coin and just look at the brilliant club that Newcastle are. and they lost their personality during their Mike Ashley days. But I'm happy that they've sort of reinstated that belief in their team now. But I just think there's level to this game, and I'm not overly surprised, and I would not be surprised if another thing happened like this in the future with another club. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Newcastle thing.
Let me just get to the comments, guys. Joe Powell says, very true. Some things should be discussed behind closed doors in regards to Sterling. Contract details, issues between managers, players, ethic. Yes, true, 100%. Abdu says, attention seeker. Understand he wants to leave. Fair enough. He wants to play, but don't air it out on publicity. Publicity.
And do you know what? Just on that
one. Yeah.
Just on that one, because everybody talks about how much of a leader Raheem Sterling is. Like, and I do think he can be a leader in some sense, but in football terms, no way, because you don't. A real leader doesn't do that. You can't do that. You can't air those things out publicly. You can't. It has to stay behind closed doors. Do you know what I mean? So
Joe Powell says yes. They have to build over time. Yes, money can buy you players, but that's not all. We was discussing it yesterday on the LFC Respect Every channel. We were saying, like, if a billionaire, richest people in the world took over Liverpool, will we still be the same? And everybody said no, because we will lose the identity of our football club. That's what they said, because we're used to a certain way, and it's been like that since day one. And if we get a billionaire and we buy in players like City, like here and there, we will lose our respect. I think, like, the way we run, the way we've been, I think we will lose our identity if a billionaire owner comes to us and splashes cash, sacks manager here, sacks manager there, gets this man. If you look at Chelsea, it's a circus, isn't it? If you look at Chelsea Football Club, like, they sack managers after you lose 2 games on a regular basis. It's a joke. It's an actual joke.
Laughing stock.
Yeah, but we was discussing obviously about the Saudi owners and all that stuff. Let me bring this to you guys. If a Super League again comes with these foreign owners and the Spanish and all that stuff, if they come back again saying, because of these things that's happening in football, why can't a Super League happen? Is this the perfect excuse to make? Because Newcastle is a super club now. You know what I mean? They'll become, as soon as everything becomes all right, they'll be untouchable, like Klopp said. So what? And he even actually talked about the Super League. He even said it. So what's wrong with the Super League now? He said, like, this is what we've been fighting against, and this is like come over all of a sudden. A team is going to be to the extent that they're going to be in the top 4 on a regular basis, fighting for the Champions League, fighting for the Premier League, unfairly, by the way, because they are going to spending money on the best players in the world, while other teams will struggle on a regular basis. So every single time a super club comes in, there's going to be one place in the top 4 going to be dropped down, if you know what I mean. And they only chase the smaller clubs. They don't chase the big clubs, because the big clubs already made it up there. You know what I mean? So what do you think about the Super League now, Ali? Like, is it, if they come back with it again, is this the perfect excuse for them to use that now?
The Super League will definitely return in one way or another. It definitely will. I just think football's getting too big financially for it not to come up. I just think the financial advances of the league and the money that these owners have, I just feel I'd be very shocked if it didn't come in. But yeah, I agree with everything you said, Fozi, but I just feel like I think there should definitely be more governance in football. Because I feel like the owners with the most money and the owners that have that shed load of money should be run under the same umbrella as the teams without that money and that dominance that these owners, like you said, TEREAK, I think Newcastle's owner is virtually the owner of Saudi Arabia. I feel like that mentality is so easy, and the money behind him, going on to the point about money talks, it's so shady that stuff can happen behind the business, behind closed doors, because they think that they have the power to do something, change the way that football's being run.
Let me give you this example, guys. If you look at that game, Leeds Liverpool, when the Super League thing came out, they placed shirts in Liverpool's dressing room saying "Earn it." and they were wearing shirts before the actual, when they were warming up, saying "earn it." Yeah. So how are these teams earning it? That's what I want to know, Ali. Like, if they're spending money like this and they're getting, listen, the thing people need to understand: these clubs are getting owned by countries, not like rich owner, by countries. You know what I mean? So that's the second team or third team. I don't know. I think it's 3 teams or along those lines that's owned by a country now in the Premier League. So if you look into things like that and you're saying earn it, how are these teams earning it if they like cheating their way to titles? I honestly think it is, because if you look at Liverpool Football Club, if you look at Man United, if you look at Arsenal, they earned their way to titles. They didn't like get a billionaire owner or anything. It was all planned and to find a way to win titles on a regular basis. That's how they did. They started from the ground up. Ferguson ground up, Shankly ground up, like Arsenal, Wenger ground up. Everybody done it from the ground up. These teams don't need that. They just get any manager they want in the world and they just splash the cash. If they get it right, they get it right. If they get it wrong, they get it wrong. And don't forget where Newcastle are in the league now, guys. They're in the bottom 3, I think. And all they have to do in January is spend get 3 to 4 players and they'll be at that. And a team that's above them that don't deserve it is going to go down there. That's how it's going to happen. So what do you guys think about that, TEREAK? Like in general, it's country owned now. It's country owned, these clubs. And
wholeheartedly agree with Alid. But Fuzzy, man, I'm going to say this. You are preaching facts when you're talking about this in the Super League. Bro, that is one of the best pieces that I've seen, because Fuzz, I was thinking of this myself. When it comes to the Super League, and with Newcastle and Manchester City being owned by countries now, countries, we're losing the roots of our game. This is the working class sport, guys. Yeah. This is where this sport was built upon, through churches in this country. That's where the Football League was built upon. Like I've done my football research. I'm only 22, but I know how I've done this, and we're losing the roots of that game because of money, because of these, as you were saying, Alid, spot on here, that we're lacking governance in the sport. And do you know what? In terms of return of the Super League, it was inevitable anyway. We've seen how, everybody, Fred's inevitably crap in how he performs. And we've seen that word being bandied around social media. It was always going to return, but this just then enhances it, because for these owners, for your owners, FSG, for KSE, for the Glazers, for all these types of owners, now we can say, all right, look at Newcastle, look at how much money they're earning. How are we going to compete with that? We're the ones who generate this revenue from the Premier League, and credit to the Premier League for doing this. The one thing that they've done well is spread that money out, and make it fair in that way, in terms of the TV rights, the billions that they get, and they split the pot better than like La Liga do and Serie A and etc. And this is the downfall of it now, because what's the point in doing that if you're going to allow an ownership worth over £350 billion to take over the league, and they can dominate because they can generate these revenues. There's these loopholes, like the Etihad, like what they did with Manchester City with the Etihad, making sure they're sponsored, buying out all these other clubs like Girona, Melbourne City, etc. So now, what that's done to the Super League, that's going to happen now, and these clubs are going to come together and say, we need to make more money, and this is the best way that we can.
We can't compete with basically. We can't compete with this billionaires. That's what they're going to do.
Exactly.
Perfect excuse.
Perfect. Yeah.
I mean, and it's gonna ruin football. Let me give you a prime example, guys. I grew up obviously in the 80s when I was a kid, and all the way through. Italian league used to be the best league in the world. Best league in the world, bar none. All the best players used to go down there. What happened? All the mafias and all that stuff started taking over. They ruined that. It's just like a mafia here. That's what it looks to me, because it's all Arab owned and all this stuff. You know what I mean? And Russian owned and all that stuff. So that's what happened to that league, and it lost its appeal because they couldn't compete with the top teams anymore. You already can prejudge who wins the league way in advance. That's what I'm afraid of the Premier League, because that's why they created the Premier League, to be a fair playing field for every Premier League club in this country. Now it's going to come to the point, and listen, it's not just Newcastle, it's Man City, Chelsea, etc. You know what I mean? You can't just blame Newcastle for it. It's just part and parcel of football. We'll have to discuss these things. But I'm just worried it's going to become like that. Like, we talk about the Spanish league, it's not the best league in the world because we already know who's going to win. that's the Premier League is going to be the same. The Premier League is going to be the same. But yeah, listen, good luck to Newcastle, but I hope something comes out of it to the financial fair play, because none of us know how it works. I don't know about you guys. We've been trying to figure out, because every team's by 300 million players, although single top like 3 or 4 players on a regular basis. Nothing's changed. I mean, so I hope they find a way, like Ellis said, the football governing body, to sort this out, because we can't have a team that's super like power, and to the extent that we can't even compete for the Premier League anymore. And us lot will say, you know what, there's no point watching these Premier League games anymore, because we already know what we're expect at the end of the season. It's gonna be hard for all the fans, man. It's from top to bottom. It's just gonna kill football, in my opinion, if we have these teams doing this on a regular basis. Sorry, Terry, you wanna say something? Or
yeah, because you're a basketball fan yourself, yeah. And so, okay, I got a question now. I literally just thought of this while she was preaching then as well. Imagine. So, do you think this is the perfect time to introduce salary caps?
Yes, I
because
think so.
This is what we're gonna have to do now. Like, if we're gonna try and make it an even playing field. And we're gonna have to Americanize the sport that we love, and it's once again it kind of leads back to the Super League debate, because with the NBA, why it really works with the salary cap is because they know they're going to remain in the league, and that's why they can tank. So teams in the NBA, if you're not aware, they will if they have a poor squad and they see a next rookie who can change the game, like for the likes of, like Harvey Elliott, for example.
Yeah.
And he'll be able to get picked by the worst team, because the worst team will have the higher rank.
Is it trading kind of thing you're talking about, right?
I'm not drafts. The drafts.
Yeah,
so like, and that's where they can build and kind of rebuild their squad, because money won't How are you going to rebuild?
It won't intervene. It won't intervene, basically, you're saying. And I think that's what they tried to do for the Super League. I'm sure it was just a fair playing field. That's what they said, didn't they? Fair playing field. So I think. Listen, we don't know what's happening. It's like you just said, Ali. It will go to the point. It'll be like Hollywood kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna expect the unexpected on this league. And we in this country, obviously you guys are from here. We're used to our tradition. The tradition will be taken away eventually, to the point that everybody's going to lose interest, because we're just used to one way of life in this country. And then, all these rich owners are just going to come in and do whatever they want. Like you said, what's the next club now? Is it West Bromwich Albion? I don't know. It's just going to be a next club that's going to be super rich again, to the extent that we're all going to be talking about it again on a regular basis. Let's get back to the messages. Joe says, it'll be interesting to see what Premier club managers all say about the takeover. Yeah, Klopp already started it. We'll have to see what's going to happen after that. 100% led by example, this isn't. Yep. Yes, Stephen Somerville. Well, lads. Yes, well said. No one really knows how this financial fair play works. I have no idea. I wish I could tell you, because teams do whatever they want. Let's just be honest there. Guys, I don't know if you know about this. Steve Bruce will be in charge of Newcastle's next game. Everybody was saying that he ain't gonna be in charge, but he's gonna be in charge. That it's official right now. And what do you guys think about Steve Bruce? Do you want to talk about him as a manager? Do you rate him, Lalid? Does he deserve a chance, or does he want the likes of Conte and all that stuff?
I think if he's going for his 1,000th game, he knows what he's talking about. Because you're not in that game that long if you don't know what you're talking about. And I actually watched Steve Bruce's press conference, and I actually felt really sorry for him, because all the questions were on about him and not the team, and they were just trying to dig him out all the time. And I did honestly felt really sorry for him, because I felt like this is a very important day for Newcastle coming up on Sunday. We know the electric atmosphere is going to be rocking there. But, do I rate his man management? Probably not. But at the end of the day, he's managing a big club in Newcastle. And look, like what we said before about the financial aspect of the game, I think a lot of people are saying, well, nah, this shouldn't happen because it's Newcastle. Obviously, with the human rights problem, that's a problem in itself, and that should be looked at. But I think the problem is, as well, it's another team, and it's just further reinstated the problem and the financial divide that is in this country at the moment. And I think it's nothing to do with Steve Bruce. I think I'm happy that he'll see his 1,000th game. A week ago, I didn't think he'd get his 1,000th game. I thought these owners, they're ruthless. Look at Abramovich, for example, Mansour, and all the Glazers as well. They're ruthless in what they do in their profession, and I think. I'm happy for Steve Bruce, and I think it will be a positive day for Newcastle on Sunday. I do think they'll beat Tottenham with the atmosphere and the occasion. I think it will really lift the players. But to be fair, I feel like Steve Bruce's games for Newcastle is in single figures now. I really do.
Nice one, Elliot. What do you think, TEREAK, mate?
You know what? And leading on to that point, I think they've made the worst decision. And it's not because I'm saying they made the worst decision to keep Steve Bruce. I think you either have to fully back your manager or get rid of him straight away. What's this indecisiveness that they're doing right here in terms of we're not going to speak out on him. We're going to let all these rumours ramble on that we're looking for this manager, but we're going to keep this man who Newcastle fans, I know you're going to hate me for this because you can't stand Steve Bruce, but he took over your club with all the restrictions under Mike Ashley, and whether you like it or not, it's been the worst football, and I understand if I was watching, I wouldn't like it myself, but he kept you in the Premier League when we've seen better managers fail to do so and where better football has been played. But from the ownership point of view, I think this is not a good sign. And this kind of shows that you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't really have a clue, they should have went, okay, we're backing Steve Bruce. We're going to give him the opportunity to shine. Or if he fails, then we'll have to make the decision then. Or we're going to get rid of him straight away and then bring in our man, because that's what they should have had. When you're taking over a club, and they would have known this for a while, that this would have been...
It's like what we've been discussing. Where's the humanity in this? Where's the you're destroying a guy's reputation. Like you can get your 1,000 game. Just go ahead. You know what I mean? It's like that. While we just sit here, say goodbye to you after the game. You know what I mean? Come on. That's what I said about the English game. We're losing the identity to this game, man, and it's happening right in front of our eyes, people. Mark my words. It's gonna come to the point. All of us are gonna lose interest. We don't care about it anymore because it's heading that way. And we need to do something to stop it. Just like we stopped the Super League, we need to do something to stop this kind of ownership. To me, get back to the fans' ownerships, man. The fans used to be the best way because it was people that supported your club that used to own it. You know what I mean?
Bundesliga?
Yeah, there you go. They have their own structure over there. They don't give a damn outside that. And look at the way it's working. Yes, Bayern Munich win the league every season, but those other teams are slowly catching up. Look at Leipzig, look at Dortmund. I mean, they're slowly catching up. It used to be just two teams or one team. Now you've got Leverkusens of this world, Mönchengladbach. They're all Hamburg. They're all coming up slowly, right behind Bayern Munich. And it will come. I think that's going to be probably the league everybody wants to watch eventually. I'll watch. I'm telling you right now.
I mean, from the Bundesliga anyway, it's the best league in terms of fans, even throughout the lower divisions. Yes. I was listening to Derek Ray, the FIFA guy, the commentator, and because he covers a lot of German football, and he was saying, how we praise the Championship and we say, the Championships are one of the best leagues in the world. They actually average more attendances in their second division and in their third division because their fans actually take ownership of the club, and the atmospheres we can't come close to them. But Anfield, when it's rocking, one of the best atmospheres in the world, But week in, week out in the Bundesliga, it is different gravy.
I've seen it, mate. I've seen it.
Do you know what I'm saying? And the fans feel a part of that, and we are slowly taking that away because, as you said, Foz, we're allowing these owners, and we're losing the roots, we're losing the traditions. In some aspects in life, I don't mind that because traditional things can, be outdated in terms of those things. But in terms of our great sport and what has brought us and the sport that you and I love, that all of us here love, and everyone in the comments, we're losing that. And for that ruthlessness, yes, you'll win a trophy, but then the memories and it's an emotional game, guys. This is all about emotion. That's why we love it. That's why when you was watching players like Jovanovic, so Kiriakos, those types of players,
Konchesky and all them,
Charlie Adam, Jay Spearing in the midfield, you carried on. You wasn't ruthless like these owners and saying, forget Liverpool now.
We just got on with it. Yeah,
you got on with it, and you still supported the boys. And even when you had that terrific night against Borussia Dortmund, in the Europa League. That's not where Liverpool wanted to be, but because of that emotion, and look where you are now, and that's where you really get to feel it because you had them down times.
Exactly.
We're losing that.
We're losing that. We'll have 100%. Ali's got a few minutes, but let's just go to the actual Premier League, guys, and chat about the games before we head off. We're coming to the end. Score prediction, Ali, Liverpool, Watford, Liverpool, mate.
Well, this has banana skin marks all over this, but I think obviously we'll take enough confidence. I think it's important that it's a 12:30. Get this part of the period of games up and running. And I think away from home, I think we have to use that atmosphere to our advantage this time out, and I think we'll win 3-1 tomorrow.
Thank you. What about you, TEREAK?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't obviously new manager bounce that could play a part with Claudio Ranieri. I'm not a big fan of that appointment, but with one of the positive aspects about Claudio Ranieri's game, I do think it fell into place for him at Leicester, and he was just in the right place, right time. But for him, what he can bring is that camaraderie and that spirit, and he could lift that up, and the atmosphere will be good at Watford. It won't be as easy, but I think Liverpool's quality will edge themselves past it, and I'll say 2-1.
I'm more worried than before he came now, if you know what I mean. TEREAK, Southampton, Leeds United, 3 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, big game this one for both sides really. Southampton haven't picked up a win this season, and Leeds United have struggled in their start. But in this one, I have gone for a draw. I've gone for a 2-2 draw between Leeds and Southampton and Leeds.
Alid?
Yeah, well, I think Leeds can register their 15th win against Southampton if they win tomorrow. So I think Leeds will get the job done. I think they need to bounce back, and I think the international break coming at a good time for them. So I think 2-0 for Leeds. Nice
one, brother. Alid, Norwich, Brighton. That's good. Another 3 o'clock kickoff.
Oh man, I feel sorry for Norwich, but I think Neil Maupay and Brighton have had a decent start. Really rate Graham Potter, which is why I'm going to give them a 2-0 win. I just feel like Norwich City fans, burn your home tickets, because unfortunately, I don't think they're winning many games this season.
Yeah, TEREAK.
Totally agree. 2-0 Brighton as well. Yeah, Neil Maupay, he might grab a goal. It's just, Norwich will play well. They'll play pretty football like they do. They'll probably try and press and get the Carrow Road faithful up. But we've seen how organised Brighton are. Look, the likes of Cucurella now. Wonder if we'll see Tariq Lamptey back. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah,
we haven't seen him for a while. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Local derby, Aston Villa, Wolverhampton. Alid, what do you think of that, mate?
I think Wolves have come into a bit of form, but I think also Aston Villa can hold themselves out against them. They're resilient in how they play. Look at what they did at Old Trafford. So I think this one's going to end up a draw, especially at Villa Park. I don't think Wolves will come away with anything more than a point, but I think Aston Villa will have enough at their disposal to get that point. So I'm going to go 2-2.
Yeah, nice one. I think Birmingham needs to be intact in it. It's 2 derbies in today. Is it today and tomorrow?
True, yeah.
Oh man. So good luck, mate. Good luck, TEREAK. What do you think of this one? What do you think this one?
Do you know what? I agree with Abdul in the comments there. I can see he's gone with a 1-1 draw. Yeah, the Aston Villa and Wolves, they generally do go for a draw in this type of game. We've got West Brom, Birmingham, and we've got Aston Villa, Wolves. So we got the Brummies versus the Black Country, and I'm from the Black Country side, so I would want West Brom and Wolves to do it, but I think it's gonna be a draw in this one.
Nice one, brother. Alid, Leicester, Man United, 3 o'clock kickoff.
This one's a big one, because
why isn't this live?
I know it's mad, because I think both teams have an injury. Well, Man United more so injury crisis in their back four. And we all know, as Liverpool fans, me and you, Fozi, what a bad defence, can cause your team. Yeah. But I think Leicester haven't clicked either. I don't think they've dealt with Europa League football, playing a Thursday, Sunday well either. But I think if they bounce back off that international break, which I think they really did need, and same probably for Man United as well, I I really expect. I think Leicester will sneak this one. I think it'll be 2-1, and I think they'll get their first back-to-back win against United. But United away from home, so
undefeated still since Liverpool.
Yeah. 2-2.
2-2. Okay. What about you, Tariq?
Yeah, one of my hottest takes, but I'm sure people won't like, and you guys in the comments. I'm not sure if you, Foz or Alid. I'm not Brendan Rodgers' biggest fan. I think he's getting proven now in terms of his tactical lapses. And, you know, he can bring a team so far. Credit to him, what he's done for Leicester. But Leicester have a very good squad, and they have one of the richest owners in the league. Yeah. And Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer always finds a way, whether we like it or not. I don't mind him saying it will.
He does.
Always finds a way. Look at that away record. I'm sorry, with Leicester's defence as well, even if it has Bayern Lindelof, the strike force for Man United, so they're going to get through this. They'll win this 2-0, I'm going to say.
Nice one, bro.
Actually, 2-1, sorry.
2-1, yeah?
Yeah.
Vardy get another goal, eh?
He's that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Man City, Burnley, Alid?
Well, all I've got to say, if there's any Burnley fans watching, get your paracetamols in now. This one's going to be an absolute hammering, as it always is. I think they don't stand a chance here, Burnley, unfortunately. But I'm going to go 5-0. 5-0, I was always is. The City. Jesus Star Trek.
Yes.
4-0 for me. 4-0. I think Burnley will hold out for a 4-0 defeat in the end.
We'll move on to the West London derby, guys. Brentford and Chelsea.
Well, oh man, it's a crazy one. I think Brentford have the players at their disposal. If they do what they did to Liverpool, you know, Chelsea players have the qualities on their disposal for the counter-attack in Werner, who can create space for Lukaku. But Lukaku hasn't been great so far since that first 3 games. He's sort of tipped over. But then, you know, Brentford have qualities as well. I think the Brentford atmosphere will push Chelsea all the way, but I think Chelsea have enough resilience in their team. Come on, the European champions. They should deal with this. But I don't think they'll make it easy for them, Brentford. And I think I did say 2-2 on my channel yesterday, but I think it'll be 2-1 Chelsea.
Tariq?
Yeah, totally agree with Alid there. Brentford do play a good game, and they will make it difficult for every team that rolls up to Brentford Stadium, as we saw with Liverpool. But also with Chelsea, I don't think their attacking players have been in the best of form. Lukaku's been quite isolated, feeding off scraps, kind of. And Fozi, you know, Fozi. I know what Fozi's thoughts are about Lukaku.
I'm honest, mate.
You know what I mean? So he doesn't mind seeing that. So he doesn't mind seeing that. But yeah, I do think Foz, he's going to score in this game, Lukaku, to keep your mouth quiet.
I think so as well. I don't know what's telling me, but yeah, it's going to happen. Alid, West Ham, Everton, West Ham, that's a good game, it looks like. I think these two teams are pretty similar, aren't they, really, if you look at them?
Yeah, they are. Obviously, Moyes will manage West Ham against his old club, return to Goodison Park. And look, I think I fancy West Ham on quality, but I think his pragmatic nature is going to find a way to take a point from this game. And I think he's taken points from all the big games that he's had so far this season, or most of them at least. So I think he has what it takes to grind out a result here. I think it'd be difficult for them, especially with the hot form of Antonio, but I think it'd be 1-1.
1-1. Tariq?
The David Moyes derby, this one. Everton are struggling with a lot of injuries and with players out, so I've gone for a West Ham win. You know, I think they'll do it away from home. Although West Ham did struggle last time after yeah, of course you do. After a international break when they drew 0-0 with Southampton and got away with it, to be quite honest. So yeah, I'll go for a 2-0 West Ham win.
Nice one. The one we were speaking about earlier, guys. Newcastle Tottenham. Before we go, we've got one more after that.
Electric atmosphere. I think the fans will. This will be the first time. Well, we've seen St James's Park rocking in a different way for a very long time, and I think I don't think Tottenham. It's mad because when a new manager comes in, you usually see that boost and that elevation, but I don't think anyone can sort of see that elevation from the Spurs players playing for that manager. It just doesn't look like they're playing for him, to be fair. I know the system takes time, but usually you see a fight, you see an integrity, that energy, that boost, because they're fighting for their shirt, they're fighting for their future at the club, they're fighting to be in the manager's plans. But I don't really see that. But I think the Newcastle atmosphere, I think they'll come in on a high. They'll want to start this period of the season off well, and start to build up a run of games to try and get out of the position that they're in. And I think it'll be 2-0.
Nice one, bro. TEREAK?
Yeah, I think Tottenham, are going to take this one in the end, and we'll see Newcastle fans become a bit more like Manchester United and Arsenal fans with their disdain and hate for Steve Bruce. They'll be like, get him out of the club now. I can't take it anymore. No, that was more like Irish afterwards. Sorry. I do
Turned into McGregor then.
I know. So I think Tottenham will take it in the end. They'll upset the party up in Newcastle. 2-1 win with the likes of Son. I think Kane will grab a goal too.
Nice one, bro. Final one, Alid.
Monday night.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Vieira obviously travelling to his old team, but obviously is sitting in the manager's seat now. I don't know. I fancy.
TEREAK's here, mate. TEREAK's here.
Arsenal fan. So
Arsenal. Yeah, I think going off what the result that they produced last time out, I think at the Emirates was the North London derby. I think that'll fill the whole stadium out with confidence that they can build a run of games going forward. I think it's been a very difficult start for them this season, and hopefully they can sort of turn that around, because let's be frank, Arsenal are a big club and they deserve to be in a better position than they're in currently. So I think at the end of the day, I think Crystal Palace, although they're changing system, they're coming out of their shell a little bit on the front foot, I think they haven't been grinding results out, and I think they do probably a result, but I think Arsenal will have enough quality going forward with Smith Rowe, that engine driving forward to get the job done. 2-1 Arsenal.
Go on, TEREAK.
Do you know what? I'm looking at Abdul in the comments as well. We was agreeing with each other for ages then, and I was like, I think I found my guy with the exact predictions. But then he goes and puts a 2-2 draw. Nah, man. Abdul, man, I thought I had you then. But nah, I do agree with my bro here, and I've gone for a 2-1 Arsenal win. I think we'll just about edge it. It'll be a good game with Crystal Palace attack. Zaha, man. So yeah, I think we'll just about edge it though. Arsenal's defensive solidity now, and hopefully, my only question is, can we score enough goals? That's my problem.
He's saying sorry, mate, and he started laughing at you. Okay, boys. Thank you for coming on. Honestly, thank you for coming on. I know, like, you're busy as well. Let me come back in a second. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. Much appreciated. Sorry if I didn't read all the comments. You know what I mean? It gets busy all of a sudden in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed the preview. The main man Lazer will be back in the next one on the preview, so don't worry about that. And thank you again. Thank you once again. I'll see you soon, people. I'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Take care.